Also a good place to pitch, and the Royals starters have pitched good enough to win in their last two starts, but both games resulted in a loss in the later innings. Zack Greinke's ERA is under 2 at home this year. What will happen tonight? It's the Royals and the Indians next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Another T-shirt Tuesday at Kauffman Stadium as this mild August continues. We don't have many T-shirt days left at Kauffman Stadium. Royals trying to figure out how to keep the Indians' bats cool after the Indians took Game 1 last night, 10-6. And welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Ryan Lefevre with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. And I once heard a former player say about the game of baseball is that baseball doesn't make any sense, and once you understand it doesn't make any sense, then you got it figured out.
Well, that's true, Ryan. And one of the things that I was told earlier was that once you learn when to do something and when not to do something, the game will be a lot easier for you. But it's frustrating to lose the way the Royals have been losing of late. And it's still one of those things about the baseball game now is that there's a game tomorrow, and everybody has to come out and get ready to turn it around today. And it's a short turnaround, and that really makes it easy for guys to get prepared for the next day.
Sometimes in this game, the numbers make sense. Sometimes they don't. Look at this. Season series with the Indians. Both teams have scored the same amount of runs, about the same batting average. The Royals have out-homered Cleveland. That was the other way around last year. Walks are the same, strikeouts are the same, but the Indians have won 8 of the 13 games this year. And the Royals' bullpen problems this year extended themselves all the way to Joakim Soria.
Well, that's when everybody just take that collective sigh of relief and say, now, not again. And I think that right now you look at this game last night, he made a couple good pitches, didn't have any luck with him. He missed his location, and that was a 3-run homer.
Good starts the last 2 days. Brian Bannister, 102 pitches on Sunday against Minnesota, but then Kyle Farnsworth gives up 5 in 1 inning. And then Gilmesh last night, 4 earned runs in his 7 innings, but then Soria and Jamie Wright giving up 5 earned runs. So the Royals will hope for a long outing from Zack Greinke tonight. He still leads the American League with 5 complete games. This will be his 4th start this year against the Cleveland Indians. We'll talk more about him right after this. explore a menu full of soup, salads, sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. And by Thoroughbred Ford. Thoroughbred Ford buys cars, trucks, and SUVs outright. So talk to Thoroughbred Ford before you sell. Zack Greinke still leads the American League in ERA. He's fourth in the major leagues. The other three guys, their teams have winning records when they take them out. The Royals are just 11-14, believe it or not, when Zack Greinke takes the hill, and that's because he has the lowest run support of the top four in the major leagues. And a perfect example was 2 starts ago in Detroit, 7 shutout innings, and he didn't get a win.
And that's been Zack all year, Ryan. Just goes out, don't worry about the run support, but keep his team in the game and give him an opportunity to win.
And the key pitching report for tonight.
Well, the 11 runs early are just a result of Zack going out and just trying to establish his fastball early. But the good thing is he always pitches well against the Indians here at Kauffman.
The lineup he'll face tonight, presented by M&I Bank. Grady Sizemore will get the game off, so the hot-hitting Asdrubal Cabrera will lead off. Jamie Carroll moves into right field. Shin-Soo Choo over to center. And you have to keep an eye out on Luis Valbuena, only hitting .249, but in 2 of the last 3 games for the Indians, he has a game-winning home run. And, of course, you have to keep an eye on Travis Hafner, who's having an off year this year, but it sure didn't look like it last night. With a 3-run home run and an RBI double, he drove in 4. Royals and the Indians, the first pitch is next. Free with digital cable. Royals taking the field, and prior to that, Clint Bowyer threw out the first pitch. NASCAR Sprint Cup driver from Emporia, Kansas. The Royals catcher John Buck, he'll be joining us in the 3rd inning tonight. Royals are just 5-8 this year against the Cleveland Indians. Zack Greinke has faced the Indians 3 times. He's 1-0 and a good ERA at 2.45. The defense behind him tonight has David DeJesus in left field and Josh Anderson in center. Only the third time he has started in center. Mitch Meyer moves over to right. Mark Tien, Unievsky Betancourt, Alberto Callaspo, and Billy Butler on the infield. And Miguel Olivo for the 24th time. He'll be behind the plate for Zack Greinke. And the Cleveland Indians are playing well. Over their last 29 games, they are 18-11. Remember those two numbers? That was the start that the Royals got off to this year. And now the Indians are ahead of the Royals by 8 games in the American League Central standings. Gilmesh taking a no decision last night, gave up 4 runs in 7 innings as the bullpen combined to allow 6 earned runs in the 8th and 9th innings. Joaquin Soria 3, Jamie Wright 2, and John Bale gave up 1. So Gil still at 6 and 9 this year. Zack Greinke has had some trouble with Grady Sizemore over the years, but Sizemore is on the bench tonight as Drupal Cabrera will lead off in his place. 2 hits, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs for Cabrera last night. And Zack begins the game with a fastball high and away.
Well, he almost always does. He wants to come out and really establish his fastball early, and that has some effect on his breaking balls later on in the ball game.
Going after the second pitch, Cabrera lifts it to left field, 1 down. And that brings up Jamie Carroll, who starts in right field tonight. Usually a utility infielder. His role has expanded, much like Willie Bloomquist with the Royals, playing more positions. And as a big leaguer, he has played everywhere but pitcher and catcher. Again, a fastball upstairs. One ball, 1 strike, says home plate umpire Adrian Johnson. And let's find Joel Goldberg.
Well, guys, had some interesting conversations about Zack Greinke. Winless in 8 of his last 9, and in those 8 games that the Royals lost, they scored a total of 12 runs. That would bother most pitchers, but I can't seem to find anybody that suggests that Zack has been affected or bothered by this. Trey Hillman says he doesn't see a difference. Talked for a while with Bob McClure today, who said he has never once said a word. He said, this is a guy who wants his wins, no doubt about it. Hasn't talked about the Cy Young, but Mac believes that if he can get up to around 16 or 17 wins, which he thinks is a possibility, there's no reason why he can't win the Cy Young, guys.
Well, he and the Royals are running out of time trying to accomplish that. 38 games remaining, including tonight. And that's his first strikeout as he gets Jamie Carroll looking. So 2 up, 2 down in the top of the first. 86 degrees, a little bit on the humid side tonight after a very cool night last night, at least for mid to late August. 7-11 first pitch, time and temp brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. And a changeup for a strike on Shin Soo Choo. He had a 3-hit game, scored twice last night. And he moves to center field tonight for Eric Wedge. And the Indians need to find someone who can play center field from time to time after they traded Franklin Gutierrez to the Seattle Mariners this past offseason. That left them without a backup center fielder. So trying to see what Shin Soo Choo can do. And Grady Sizemore is not in the lineup. And Zack throws 10 pitches to get through the Indians in the first inning with a couple of strikeouts. accounted for in last night's game. Josh Anderson will make the start in center field and hit 8. Facing big right-hander Justin Masterson. Here's the Kia scouting report.
Well, a good sinker, a two-seam fastball. He can get up to 95, but it throws a heavy sinker, and the hard slider is inconsistent. He got the hard slider, but the changeup right now is inconsistent. He threw 110 pitches last start, and that's the most he's ever thrown.
And that was a win against the Angels, giving up 1 unearned run in 6 1/3 innings.
And Justin Matheson's a big guy, 6'6", 250 pounds, and he's just all man, as they would say.
And with his arm angle and being that big, you can see he would be a handful for a right-hand batter. So Trey has 6 either left-hand batters or switch hitters in the lineup tonight. Only Billy Butler, Miguel Olivo, and Yuniesky Betancourt hit from the right side. Good fastball. It's 1-2 on to Jesus. 2 hits for David last night. He's hit in 6 straight. And the numbers would prove that point as well. Quite a disparity. Lefties 323, where righties are just barely over 200. And a hard slider breaks down and in, so DeJesus down on 4 pitches.
Well, that hard sinker, and now here's the hard slider, real tight. It kind of reminds you of the slider that Zack throws when he gets a hit for the strikeout. But, you know, in Masterson's last 12 hits he's given up, Ryan, have all been the left-handed hitters.
Well, they're going to get a good look at him with that 3/4 arm angle. Sometimes maybe it drops even lower than 3/4. 1-0 on Mitch Meyer. Hitless last night in 3 at-bats. Did have a sac bunt in the middle of the Royals' biggest inning. And they came up with 4 in the 5th against Jeremy Sowers. Royals still trying to answer some questions in regard to Mitch Meyer. Where's his best position on defense, and where's his best position in the batting order? 3-0.
Well, he's played left, center, and right, so he knows he can play all the outfield positions. Offensively, I think the big question is how well is he going to drive the ball? Is he going to be a guy that's going to hit mostly singles and doubles, or is he going to be able to really develop into a guy that can put up 15, maybe 20 home runs? So that's the big question mark right now.
So 1 on 1 out after the walk to Meyer. Cleveland defensively, Laporta, Chu, and Carroll in the outfield. Peralta, Cabrera, Valbuena, Marte on the dirt. Kelly Shopping behind the plate. And now Billy Butler 0 for 4 last night. He did drive in his 66th run of the year. You know, it's easy to get caught up with home runs when you're talking about a big, strong hitter. And, you know, Billy does have 15 this year, and that's a new career high for him. But in a ballpark like this, you figure you're not going to hit a lot of home runs, but there's a whole lot of doubles out there.
He's perfect for this ballpark. And, I mean, the bigger the ballpark, the better alleys you give him, the better he's going to hit. And they sort of bunched him in the alleys to try to take that away. But the thing about Billy, he can go line to line also. But they're going to just go with the percentages and just bunch the middle and take the alley away from him.
So then getting back to Mitch Meyer and what type of hitter he's going to be, you know, he hasn't hit a major league home run yet. And last night we told you that his career high in the minor leagues is only 14. So is that a statistic he shouldn't even worry about?
Well, it depends how many base hits he gets. And then it depends on what the club is asking him to do. If you ask him to play every day, yeah, he does. He is going to have to hit better. If they ask him to be a 4th outfielder, then he can do what he's doing now and play defense. But if he wants to be an everyday player, then especially the singles and doubles have to go up.
But if those go up, then you're not worried so much about the home runs.
Right. That's not that important. Because he can steal some bases. He can do some other things for you.
And a big guy like Masterson usually takes him a while to get unwound before he delivers a pitch. So this could be a guy the Royals might think about running on. And Meyer is 6 out of 7 in stolen base attempts this year.
Yeah, he's got a long arm action, and with the long arm action, sometimes command of the strike zone can be a problem. You know, when you see how far he gets back there, and he's got to really have a consistent release point in order to hit his catcher. And sometimes that arm is even to the side, sometimes it goes down even a little bit lower.
He was born in Jamaica. His father was a teacher and a missionary in Kingston, Jamaica. Began as a student over there and then returned to teach. So Justin was born there, but he grew up in the United States. Family had moved to Ohio by the time he was 3 years old. Now Mitch is running, and the pitch is inside, and a tough pitch for Shopik to throw on. Shopik and Butler getting a little tangled up. So Mitch with his 7th stolen base of the year.
Well, you said earlier, that long arm action, that high leg kick, it's real conducive to stealing bases, and Mitch took that base easy.
So runner in scoring position for the Royals' top RBI man. And 3-2 to Billy Butler. Popped him up. Long run in for Chu. And calls out Valbuena. You tell that Valbuena all the while was just waiting for someone to call him off as deep as he went. And that's the second out.
You see, you're kind of out there in no man's land. He takes a look to see where Chu is, and then he decides, okay, I'm going to go for it, and then Chu calls him off.
So Meyer at second base, 2 down, and Mike Jacobs with 3 infielders over on the right side. Jacobs not in the lineup last night. The game ended with him as the potential tying run on deck. 1 ball, no strikes. 16 home runs for Jacobs this year. That ties Miguel Olivo for the team lead, and 3 of those home runs against the Indians. Not much power in the second half, but he is 60 points better with his batting average. And as a result, we've seen more base hits up the middle into the opposite field.
Well, you can kind of see how Mike Jacobs got his numbers last year. I mean, he's the kind of guy that you kind of put back in the lineup and just kind of forget about. And at the end of the year, the numbers just seem to be there. I mean, it's just a quick snapshot of what he's able to do with the 16 home runs and being up in the top 3 in RBI. And that's not having as many at bats.
2 balls, 1 strike. The Marlins last year, and Jacobs was the regular first baseman, all 4 of their infielders had at least 25 home runs. So there was power all around him. Three balls, 1 strike. Jorge Cantu played most of the games at third base. Hanley Ramirez, the great shortstop, Dan Ugla, and Jacobs. They all had at least 25, and then Jacobs, Ugla, and Ramirez all had at least 30. Oh, and by the way, the Marlins also led the major leagues in strikeouts. There's no secret what they were thinking when they got to the plate. Drilled to left field. Beautiful swing. 1 hop to Laporta, and Meyer is going to score. The Royals take a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning.
You can see the sidearm angle that Madison uses right here. This ball starts to go away from Mike Jacobs, and he did a good job of staying with it. And that's what you alluded to earlier, Ryan, when you talked about the second half, what he's been able to do. And he hasn't been gone up there strictly just trying to pull every ball that's thrown up there. That's one thing Madison's doing. One time his arm is just straight out to the side, then he'll drop a little lower, and the ball seems to rise when it goes into the hitting area. But right now it's just a matter of just being able to command that long arm swing that comes back from behind.
Oh, we saw a couple of things with Meyer at first and then stealing second and coming home on the Jacobs base hit that we wanted to see more of in the first half. And that's a runner reaching with a walk, stealing a base, and Jacobs using the whole field to drive him in rather than sitting back and trying to pull a home run to right field or right center.
Well, when you don't get your pitch, you got to be able to get a base hit on another pitch. And the way Masterson's ball's running away from lefties, you know, is up out over the plate, and he just stayed with it and hit it solid.
Now 2-1 on Alberto Callaspo. 1 for 4 with a run scored last night. Callaspo batting at .295. Two and two. You know, the Red Sox weren't quite sure what to do with Masterson. Should he be a starter? Should he be a reliever? The Indians first want to give him a shot as a starter. And the Royals have seen him both as a starter and a reliever. He's had great success against the Royals as a starter, and the Royals have really pushed him around as a reliever. In fact, Masterson got his first major league win against the Royals last year. That was on May the 20th, and it was overshadowed quite a bit by the game the night before. John Lester no-hit the Royals, and then Masterson gave up just 1 run in 8 1/3 innings, struck out 9 for his first big league win. Callaspo fouls it away again. And then the Royals face Masterson in Boston this year when he's pitching out of the bullpen, and he gave up 7 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning.
Well, you can really see how he could be effective coming out of the pen to face right-handed hitters, you know, with that arm angle, and you either let them know where that ball's going to go. It's moving all over the place.
To Valbuena at second base, and that's the inning. Royals get a 1-out walk from Meyer. He steals second, comes home on a Jacobs single. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network, AT&T, your world delivered. And by Colorado Tourism, plan your summer vacation at Colorado.com. Well, it's a start. Zack Greinke has a 1-0 lead. tired the Indians in order in the top of the first inning with 2 strikeouts, and those 2 strikeouts give Zack a brand new career high in that department, 184. You might remember that last year Zack and Gil Mesh tied for the team lead in strikeouts with 183.
You know, Ryan, Zack is really kind of showing a little versatility in first hitters. I mean, he gets Chu. He started with a changeup. He started the game with a fastball. Peralta, he started with a curveball. So he's really mixing it up pretty good early in this game.
3 balls, 1 strike on Peralta. Great play. Wow. Well, if you weren't sure about Zack Greinke's athleticism, now what do you think?
I think he's got a little heel. Got some springs in his heel right here. He didn't even get a chance to even go down and come up. I mean, he just went knees almost straight up when he just set his feet real quick and jumped as high as he could. Well, he talks about golf, he talks about tennis and baseball, but he never talked about basketball.
Well, that, in my opinion, was dunking height. And a changeup to Travis Hafner.
I think the most impressive thing about that jump was he didn't have very much time to set his feet. I mean, this was like, you know, in a lot of times you go down like a jump ball and you go up, but I mean, it was like set your feet, go up right now, and he did a great job just stopping that ball.
0-2 to Hafner.
Now just watch his feet. Watch how fast his feet move here.
Then you got to fix your shirt.
He also got a big smile out of him too. It's not the same face.
1-2 on Hafner, who drove in 4 runs last night. And tonight, the subject of You Call It, presented by Sprint, who is Zack's biggest nemesis. Here are the numbers of 4 Indians. All are in there tonight except for Grady Sizemore. Sizemore, by the way, his first major league home run and his first major league grand slam against Zack. Miguel Olivo lost track of the outs again. So Zack has struck out 3, 2 down in the second inning.
Well, this is never a good thing when the pitcher or the catcher forget how many outs it is. I mean, this is just 2 out. This is just 3 outs all the way in his mind. I mean, he's all the way. He's ready to toss the ball to a lucky fan behind the dugout. Yeah, maybe Zack is throwing too many strikes.
Ball 1 on Luis Valbuena, who had a 3-run home run in the 8th inning last night against Joaquim Soria. That ended up being the game-winning hit. On Saturday, he had a game-winning walk-off home run against Seattle. That's his original team. Valbuena coming over from the Mariners this past offseason in the trade that sent Franklin Gutierrez to the Mariners. And he shoots it past Tien on the left side and has a 2-out single. Saturday afternoons were made for baseball. This week, Fox brings you the national game of the week as the Mets battle Alfonso Soriano and a Cubs team looking to gain ground in the National League wild card race. Fox Saturday Baseball this week at 3 p.m. on Fox. So Valbuena at first with 2 outs, and Kelly Shopik, who is 0 for his last 17. That's dropped his average down to 207. Ball 1. I'm not sure how he feels about breaking that string tonight, but I can tell you And he is 0 for 8 against Zack Greinke with 4 strikeouts. One and one.
It's almost like you're getting a pitch to hit, but when you're trying to hit it so hard, you end up fouling off the good pitches, and that's one of the things that you try to do when you overswing. You just don't, you can't really square the ball up. Go back to George Brett's theory of hit the ball hard, but not, I mean, far, but not hard. You know, they just want to.
One ball, 2 strikes.
I think it's hard, but not far. Hard meaning you're trying to swing the bat too hard, and it's just amazing how much sense that makes when you hear him say it and talk about it.
And taking it another step, I've heard George say, if you just try and hit the ball hard, it will go far. But if you go up to the plate trying to hit it far, you're not always going to hit it hard.
Now, he was real proponent of when you take a pitch, you know, look the pitch, when you know you're taking, look the pitch back into the catcher's mitt. You can tell where it is on the plate. A lot of guys will take a pitch, like Cabrera, he'll be stepping backwards. He doesn't know where it's at.
2 scoreless innings for Zack and 4 strikeouts. First after a stolen base. Mike Jacobs getting him to the plate. It's only the 8th time this year that Meyer has batted second. Tonight's Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch comparison. Masterson hit 96 in the bottom of the first. Zack Greinke has hit 97. That's where he's topped out in the first 2 innings tonight. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. Mark Teahen, Miguel Olivo, and Josh Anderson in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Teahen 2 hits last night, scored twice, and drove in his 42nd run of the year. Two balls, no strikes. Three and 0. Masterson has walked 1, struck out 1. Teahen has never put the ball in play against Masterson. He's 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts and 2 walks. Make it 3 walks. So 7 plate appearances against Masterson. Still trying to put in play, and he'll take the leadoff walk in the 2nd inning. Independence Honda Buck Night and Hy-Vee Pepsi Fireworks Friday are back. Friday, September the 4th. That's with the first place Angels in town from the West. 7:10 game. The gates are going to open up at 5, so you can start the weekend early and enjoy dollar Pepsis, hot dogs, peanuts, and game day magazines with a fireworks spectacular after the game. Well, Mitch Myers stealing second base in the first. Mark Teahan has 6 stolen bases this year. He is yet to be thrown out yet. And now Masterson has missed. Oh, he got the call in the inside corner. I take that back. After missing with 4 in a row to Teahan. Strike 1 on Olivo. Not in there last night, but behind the plate with Zack Greinke on the mound. Deep third. Peralta will go to second. Double play. And a quick turn at second base by Valbuena.
Now that was a nice turn. That's getting on the other side of the base and not letting the ball cross the back to get to you. And that cleared the lane for him to throw this ball over to first base. As a base runner, you got to anticipate which way you think the second baseman's going to go. So Teahan basically went. He should have had his legs on that side rather than his body on that side, because that's where you get that knee to the head right there on that play right there. So the one thing about turning double plays, you get guys who like to slide on the same side, but when you turn a double play, you got to be able to slide on both sides. Whichever side the second baseman or shortstop go to, that side you want your legs.
One ball, one strike on Josh Anderson. Not in the lineup last night and facing Masterson for the first time. Almost took out a vendor who had his back to the field over the third base dugout.
I know I didn't get much of a vote the other night in our debate on what you would change about the game. But that's the reason I would put that screen all the way down to the end of the baseline and to protect those fans from those little hot line drives like that. There'll be enough pop-ups coming over that deal to give fans an opportunity to get balls. But when you're sitting right behind the dugout, that ball comes so quick, and if it hits the top of the dugout at the same time, it's even faster.
Look out again. By the way, that young fella that you just saw who was crying in his father's arms, I don't think he was hit by that foul ball. I think he might have just got bumped as everyone was trying to go for the foul ball. Now, what happened is the fan that ended up with the baseball gave it to that little guy, and then now all is right in the world.
Now that the heart can slow down a little bit. You've probably never seen that kind of chaos before.
One and two on Anderson.
So needless to say, Josh might have to start a little early.
Tell you, those are great seats right behind the dugout and close to the field, but man, you have to pay attention to every single pitch. He pulls this one. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Clint Bowyer is going to join us in the next half inning, and we were talking to Josh Anderson before the game, and he's a big NASCAR fan. But he wanted, I don't know if he had a chance to talk to Clint, but he wanted to talk to Clint more about his boots than he did about NASCAR. He said, I like Clint before he got here, but I like him even better after I've seen his boots. And we'll chat with Clint Bowyer, who's from Emporia, when we come back.
much of it. Definitely, you know, a fun place to be, a great atmosphere, and obviously in a great city here in Kansas City.
Well, you got a race coming up here in early October, and I've been told that this is one track that you haven't conquered yet.
Yeah, well, we've gotten close. Kind of had a controversial finished second to Greg Biffle. He ran out of gas last year or a couple years ago. Didn't really know who won, but I've always run good here. It's a fun track and an important track for me. You know, growing up in Kansas and driving by the place as they built it, racing down at Lakeside in the old dirt days, and it's just fun to be able to come back and hang out in a great city and enjoy a good race and good fans.
Now, I assume when you get back to Emporia, big local hero, and I imagine there are a lot of NASCAR fans in Emporia now if there weren't when you were growing up, but how much do you think that the Speedway has added to the excitement of NASCAR in Kansas and even into Missouri?
Well, I think a great deal. You know, both Carl Edwards and I, him being from Columbia, me being from Kansas, this is our home track. You know, we do a lot in the area to promote the track and things. But it's a great track. It's state of the art. You know, I feel like the track's not only created a fan base for NASCAR in Kansas City and the Kansas area, but it's you know, it's done a lot for the area. You know, the Legends Park out there, and a lot of neat things going on around the racetrack.
Well, Clint, I always wondered what it felt like to go 200+ miles an hour, this close, and you got to listen to the guy in the ear, and some of the guys be on TV talking, and I mean, how do you concentrate like that?
It's a lot easier than going out there in front of all these fans and trying to throw a baseball that you haven't thrown since you was a little kid.
You look pretty good.
That guy was, at least you put a big guy out there. I had a big target to throw it to. So
you want to break this down on your own here? There's the ovation on the way out to the mound.
I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. See, terrible form. I just wanted to make sure that I got it there.
You're being too hard on yourself.
But you know, it's an honor to be out here, and you know, Royals fan and a Kansas City fan. I really am. I go to a lot of Chiefs games and just like being in the area.
Now, we had Colin Jones here last night, the Olympic swimmer, and I always like to ask guys in other professional sports, you know, especially your sport that is just so fast. I mean, what is it like to be able to just sit back and watch a game that unravels so slowly like a baseball game?
Well, I didn't want to bring that up. It is a little. So you do a lot of things, you know, the same, though. You turn left at the end of the base. You go to the next one, a lot like we do, you know, go down the straightaway, turn left.
A lot of left turns.
Run to the next one and turn another left. So you guys get finished a little quicker than we do. But, you know, it is different, to say the least. So we getting back to your question, what it's like to go fast, you know, no different than being a baseball player. It's all relevant. It's what you grew up doing, and when you're out there running 200 mile an hour, everybody else is too, you know. And it really, until you hit something, then you realize how fast you were going.
How does the Kansas Speedway compare to most other tracks?
I think it's, you know, one of the best tracks we go to. You know, being on the road as much as we are, you like going to a town that's got a good city. You know, the whole NASCAR community, everybody likes coming to Kansas City because it's just such a great area. But the track itself, for a mile-and-a-half racetrack, I think it's the best mile-and-a-half we go to. As it's aged, it's really opened up that outside groove. I think coming back here for the double file restarts is going to be even you know, more impressive for our fans because we'll be able to get up there and get on the outside and make things happen.
Now, some of the races can up to 500 laps. Now, how do you prepare for that? I mean, from a hydration standpoint and things like that.
Just a lot of water. I mean, you don't have to, you know, pump a bunch of iron and do those things, you know, to pull on the steering wheel all day. But you do need to, you know, get yourself hydrated. You got to be able to get acclimated to the heat, and you know, you just no different than any other sport. Doing it and being comfortable and you know, slowing everything down. We just got done with Bristol, half-mile racetrack. Things happen fast, and you go out there when you first get there. You know, you don't even realize it, but you hadn't even breathed. You know, you'll go out and make 20-lap run, and you come in, you're out of wind, and the guys are asking, you know, how's the car? What do you need? When it's too tight, too loose? And you're like, just give me a minute. I think it's good. But you know, you get back out there and you get comfortable and everything slows back down and is back to normal.
Well, you use the term that we use in baseball a lot about slowing things down when things start going fast, and when the game speeds up out here, it's the guys that can slow it down that will make most sense out of it. The guys that can't, those are the guys that keep fumbling over themselves and keep making mistake after mistake.
And it's exactly right. I mean, especially at a place, Bristol, a half-mile racetrack, and things happen so fast. If you can't calm yourself down and slow the atmosphere down, you're going to be in for a long night.
Oh boy.
Now, as is always the case, when we have someone in the booth, the inning goes by very fast. So before it ends, I got to ask you about your golf tournament in your hometown.
Yeah, we have an annual golf tournament in the Emporia Community Foundation. We're off weekend this weekend, so we'll be going back there and having some fun and raising, hopefully a lot of money for the kids in the Emporia community.
Well, it's only appropriate that Josh Anderson made the catch for the final out because he went on and on about these boots during batting practice today. Clint, thanks for stopping by. And good luck in early October. Game, and he has a very touching story. After losing both his wife and his mother to ovarian cancer in the same year, 06, David founded the Vicki Welsh Fund to fight ovarian cancer by promoting greater awareness of the disease and its symptoms. And as we welcome David Welsh in the Buck O'Neill Legacy seat, Yunievsky Betancourt opens the inning with a base hit to left field. David is from Blue Springs.
Yeah, Betancourt gets a lot of base hits in that hole. They ought to just put the shortstop in that hole over and just let him sit there for a while.
De Jesus struck out swinging in the first inning. And now laying down a bunt to the first base side, and a good one. David safe. We were just talking about it last night that David does not like to bunt often. And he drags this one to the first base side.
Well, I really hope this is a sign of things to come where the offense gets a lot more versatile. They're not sitting there just trying to swing away. And like David said last night, he feels more comfortable swinging because bunting is a lot more difficult because it's all about touch and it's all about placement. And all you have to do is get that first baseman to leave. If you get that first baseman to leave, chances are you're going to beat the pitcher to first base. That's why you bunt anyway, because you think you can beat the pitcher to first base.
It's only the second bunt hit for him. He had one against Edwin Jackson during the road trip in Detroit, and that was to the third base side. And I'm going to have to get my facts straight with David, because I just talked to him yesterday about that, talked about how he doesn't like to bunt that often. And when he does bunt for a base hit, he likes to bunt to the third base side. Wait a minute. And now Meyer trying to bunt the runners up. He had a sac bunt last night. 2 balls, no strikes.
I think we're starting to put ideas in their head.
Well, there are a lot of hits out there.
You just got to play the game. You got a guy on the mound that doesn't move very well. Somebody's got to test him on the bunt, and he might as well do it early in the game and find out. But you got to play the complete game. And if you sit back and swing away all the time, you make the defense's job a lot easier too.
And now 3 balls, no strikes.
Well, Mitch has done a real good job of just getting a good pitch. You get the bunt sign. That's one thing. Some guys get the bunt sign and they want to bunt anything the pitcher throws up there. But you treat it just like you're swinging. You get a good pitch. If you don't get it, you take it for a ball.
Masterson now quickly moving up on 50 pitches already with nobody out in the 3rd inning. Three balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, I see with Masterson, the biggest thing he's going to have to fight is just command. You know, his arm stays back there a long way, and being able to get a consistent release point is going to be the toughest thing for him to develop.
Full count. Meyer thought that was ball 4.
This is one of those pitches right on 3-1. It could be outside, it could be on the corner, but it's a pitch that he can't do anything with anyway. So you just got to hope for a better pitch this time. I would say that if you get that same pitch, you better try to foul it off.
That pitch was more inside, so he stayed at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, this is an interesting part of the batting order for Mitch Meyer because he can bunt. He'd be a good candidate to hook a ground ball to the right side if there was a runner at first and the first baseman holding at the bag. And it's not a position where, at least right now, you feel like you have to hit with a lot of power.
Well, that's true, and that's why I was kind of surprised on 3-1 he went away from the bunt, because Madison does get those ground balls.
And he gets it through the right side. Betancourt is going to be held at 3rd, and the Royals have the bases loaded and nobody out for Billy Butler.
Well, that was a good sinker running away, and he was able to get out there and really roll over on it and hit it in the hole. It's similar to the pitch that was called on 3-1 for a strike. And Dave Owen is doing everything he can to watch the play and stop the runner at the same time.
So Betancourt, DeJesus, and Meyer with singles. And now Billy Butler with his team leading 66 RBIs out on a fly ball to center field in the 1st inning. Almost hit by the first pitch. Well, if you're Billy, you're looking for a pitch up and out over the plate that you can drive and try and get some runners home. But if you're Masterson and you have that sinking fastball, he's thinking more along the lines of ground ball double play, and Billy has grounded into 17 this year. You know, another thing that Masterson is really going to have to fight as he has become a Cleveland Indian is he was traded for Victor Martinez, who was one of the most popular Indians, maybe the most important player in the clubhouse. 1 ball, 1 strike, and it's so easy for someone to sit him down and say, look, you're not replacing Victor Martinez. He was a catcher, you're a pitcher. That's a lot easier said than done.
Well, I mean, that's like John Buck and Tien and Wood, you know, guys that were traded for Carlos Beltran. I mean, who's to say those guys aren't still trying to live up to that trade? And you look at Kelly Shopik, who with Martinez there, even though he was hurt, he took advantage, and now that he's gone, he's the guy. So he's probably feeling some of the same pressures too.
2 balls, 1 strike, and he is all over the place tonight. Kelly Shopik really has to stay on his toes, literally, because he's had to deal with pitches down, up, away, in, you name it.
Yeah, Billy got a fastball out earlier in the count where he's pulling off of it just a little bit because of that arm angle. So he's got to go with that ball. Else he'd be a prime candidate for a ground ball to shortstop with the same swing.
That was the pitch right out over the plate, and Billy fouls it away. Doesn't mean he won't get another good pitch to hit in this at bat, but I think that's the one he was waiting for.
And like you say, with Masterson all over the place, you really can't center a ball because he's not throwing many balls right down the middle of the plate.
Grounds it to the right side. Marte to second, and now no play at first as Masterson was a little late getting to the bag.
They got caught watching the play. He's almost thought he was a base hit. He didn't get off the mound, so he caused himself an out right there. And that's what I wanted Billy to do, just take the ball and get behind it and go the opposite way. Marte did a good job on his end, but Masterson didn't get off the mound. You can watch it. Look how long it takes. He just got caught watching the play.
So Billy drives in his 67th. And first and third for Mike Jacobs, who drove in a run in the first inning. De Jesus at third and Butler at first. And Jacobs into right field, drives in his second run tonight. And the Royals are out to a 3-0 lead.
Another two-seamer. This one he stayed more to the inner half, and Mike done a good job right now of just hitting the ball where it's pitched. The first one out over the plate, line drive left center field. This one more in the inner half, and he pulls it in the hole.
And the Royals is kind of killing him softly tonight, if you will. They have 5 hits, all singles, and 4 singles in this inning to make it a 3-run game. And as Carl Willis talks things over with Masterson, we remind you that Big 12 football is back on Fox Sports Kansas City next month. Tune in Thursday before the Royals-Mariners game for an inside look at Kansas, Kansas State, Missouri, Iowa State, and Nebraska's upcoming seasons. Our college football previews air Thursday starting at 6 p.m. here on Fox Sports Kansas City. So 2 home in this inning, and first and second, 1 out for Callaspo. Grounded out sharply to second, his first time up. And grounds to Marte again, down to second for 1. 2 Indians at the bag, and Marte receives the throw, and it's a double play. Royals come up with 2 and have a 3-run lead at the end of 3. brand new career high at 187, trailing only Justin Verlander in the American League. And Zach has a chance to go well over 200 this year. And we're joined in the booth by the voice of the Royals, Denny Matthews, who has a new book out. And I love the title because I don't know how many times you and I working radio games together over the years. And of course, you always come on the air and you say, hi, everybody. But then there are times you wonder, is anybody listening?
You know who started that?
Who?
Buddy Black.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Hi, anybody.
Yeah, he'd say that 2 or 3 times before we went on the air, obviously.
Oh, okay.
But we'd be in Oakland at 9:45 back in the Midwest, and it'd be middle of September. We were 18 games out. He'd say, I wonder if anybody's listening to that. Hi, anybody. So they asked me after the book came out, they said, well, what are we going to title the book? And I said, I don't know. It's not my job, is it, to give the title? And so I got to thinking about that, and I thought, you know what, that's kind of catchy. So it's kind of a little tribute to Buddy, in a way. So, hi, anybody.
Hi, anybody, and why I love baseball and what I would do to fix it. What is number one, Denny?
Strike zone.
Strike zone?
Yeah.
Now, you and I have seen quite an evolution of the strike zone in our years together here. Do you think, is it getting better at least?
You know what? Maybe a little bit in the last year and a half, 2 years, don't you think? I mean, it would solve a lot of ills.
You know, Danny, I've noticed that you and Ryan keep a list of umpires that you don't particularly think are doing the job that you would like them to do. And if that list starts to shrink a little bit, then that means they're getting better, right?
Yeah. That was a nice way of putting it, by the way. Yeah. Well, you think about this, though. If you open up the strike zone, hitters are going to have to swing.
Right.
It's going to make the game move along. You're going to see better defensive plays. Pitchers will not have to throw as many pitches. I think that would solve quite a few of the problems of pitchers getting hurt and being on the DL. And I think the fans would enjoy a quicker moving game. They're going to see better plays. As a second baseman, you love to have a pitcher throwing strikes. You'd love to have the hitters make contact. You were involved.
Well, that's where your anticipation comes from. But that's if they're that's if they're hitting their spots. But but a hitter really can't hit the ball if it's 2 balls off the plate on the outside corner. So how's that hitter going to feel? Or that one that's up around his letters that very rarely ever gets called. So I think it's got to go back to the umpires really calling the strike zone as is written in the book.
Yeah.
And then everybody can adjust to it. But every umpire has a different strike zone.
Yeah. And there's only one picture of a strike zone in the rule book. Have you ever noticed?
I've noticed that, yes. But have they noticed?
I don't think so. No, it would be a better game. I'm serious. Let's try it for 5 years. If it doesn't work, you know what? Let's go back to this. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, there have been a lot of things done in spring training about speeding up the game. Hitters keeping 1 foot in the box. But when the Yankees play, you play forever. When the Red Sox play, you play forever. So all the things they try in spring training as ways of speeding up the game doesn't work.
No.
Because every umpire doesn't enforce it the same way.
Because there's only one way to speed up the game. Open up the strike zone. Force the hitters to put the ball in play.
Oh, you can force the pitchers to pitch quicker. What is it, 20 seconds between pitches they're supposed to pitch?
Yeah, when has that ever been enforced?
Yeah, Burley's never had to worry about that.
No.
Gibson
A Burley-Greinke matchup would be pretty good.
Yeah, it would. Like Gibson and Fergie Jenkins.
Oh, my goodness. You know, they could raise the mound back. You know, they can go back to the higher mounds, and that always created low-scoring, quick games also.
And I think it would help the injury situation, pitchers' arms, elbows.
Because they're pitching more downhill, where the lower you get, the more flat ground, the more high fastballs, and more strain on the shoulder.
Less stress.
And
now,
the curveball's a lot easier to throw from the higher mound also.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, we've been talking about your book and promoting it all summer, and before this inning comes to an end, we want to promote, you have a couple of signings coming up and one tomorrow after the game.
That would be correct. At the Hy-Vee in Raytown.
Okay.
I don't know where that is, but I'm going to find it.
Okay. You better be there.
It's not far from here.
That's good.
It's
it may take a while.
It's on 350 Highway, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Go out the back way, Raytown Road to 350, take a left, you're right there.
I'll be all over it.
And then Denny will be at Commerce Bank in Lee Summit from 5:30 to 7 on Thursday. Thanks for stopping by, Denny.
Hey.
All right. Call strikes. Would you call some strikes?
I'm going to try to do that. You get a guess, quick inning, right?
Okay, that's right. Always
Okay,
works
thanks,
that way.
guys, for.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay.
Tobacco Quit line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Frank?
Waxing crescent moon.
Very nice.
And I called it early tonight, too. I actually looked at my watch, and it told me it looked the same as it did last night, so I was okay. That's what it's going to be.
So your watch gives you the different stages of the moon.
Yes.
Wow.
And I actually showed you, so I am telling the truth.
Yes, you are. Marte has to avoid his own pitcher and then tags out Martian for the first out of the 4th inning. Let's find Joe Goldberg.
I feel like we're kind of in Oakland right now. This is the way it usually is at the Coliseum, but they got Wizards fans out here tonight with a ticket package and then a chance to go to the Wizards game later in the week. So, if you got a fan club and a group, you got to have a name, and this is the Cauldron right here, and Robert Houghton joins me right now, and I've been banging on the drums out here, adding a little bit of maybe soccer flavor to the baseball game.
Yeah, we're just trying to get people around here a little exposure to what we do or used to do across the parking lot, but now over in Wyandotte County.
So anything special, any kind of tricks to the they have all kinds of little tricks in Oakland for different guys coming to the plate. I mean, what's the drum routine here?
There's no specific routine. We basically just use the drums to keep a cadence on the various chants that we do.
Well, it's working so far, Joel.
I'm under the flag.
Lost Joel.
I'm somewhere under the flag. I just figured I'd sit here and see how it played out. Let's see, maybe they can get another one.
Every time, this is important, this is a good stat. Every time Joel Goldberg goes to visit the Cauldron, Miguel Olivo hits a home run.
Yeah,
every
1 for
time.
1. And now we got the soccer chant. They're olaying. Should come back here every night.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joel, that was a blast. That was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that Miguel hit into the water.
Some dude just threw a peanut at us. That wasn't very nice. And then Robert here next to me said eject them. But hooligans, I tell you, these baseball hooligans. All right, guys, back upstairs to you. Maybe if there's another homer, we can come back down here and get lost in the flag again.
Anderson to short, and the ball skips by Marte. And Josh on his way to second base, and he beats the throw. That'll go as an infield single and an error.
Josh has been slicing and dicing all night, right? This is the ball that got in on him. He was able to hit it on the ground at shortstop, and then he was able to beat the throw to first, and then at the same time hustle into second base. And this is a tough ballpark because that ball hit that screen and bounced right back to the first baseman. So a good throw might have been a lot closer at second base.
And Josh going in feet first. Remember, he injured a finger on his left hand, sliding in head first in Minnesota at the last road trip. Ball one now on Yuniesky Betancourt, who singled and scored his first time up. And Josh would like to start sliding more feet first, but his reaction is to go in head first. You can see the bandage on his finger from that slide. And what runners will do to try and avoid injuring their fingers is they'll hold a batting glove in their hand when they slide head first, because in order to hold the batting glove, you have to tuck the fingers in, which means the fingers don't jam up against the bag, or in the case of Josh on the last road trip, the third baseman's leg.
Well, that's totally different than when we played. We used to go out there when guys had trouble sliding and they used to drag that hand behind them and get bruised. So we would take hands full of dirt or put our batting gloves in our hands. So when we went to slide, we would just throw it back over our heads, and that would make us keep our hands up. So I've never heard about using it to go in head first, because at some point you got to grab the bag with something. So I've got to see that one work.
Well, he's got both of his batting gloves in that left hand.
I mean, the key going in was always to be able to keep the palm up. and then as your hand hits the base, you kind of give with it. But what happens a lot of times if you go head first too late, now you're going to have a lot more momentum going, and that's when you jam your shoulders and wrists and things like that. But the key thing is to keep those fingers up and not go down. In the old base, you can actually get your fingers underneath if you weren't careful. But those guys that go head first a lot, Ryan, the thing that they got to realize is what fielders do when you go head first. Certain guys in the league will put that foot down like Creedy did in Minnesota. And I think Bartlett did it also. So you just got to, not Bartlett, Adam Everett did it also in Detroit. They get those, he's sliding to second base. He also got that foot in there. So guys that go head first all the time, they're always going to be susceptible to something weird happening to them.
Great play by Valbuena that saved a run. The Royals come up with a run in the bottom of the fourth inning. Miguel Olivo takes over the team lead with his 17th home run. It's 4-0 Royals. Just 2 singles, and his pitch count just at 51. He is right at a 2-to-1 strike to ball ratio. Brought to you by James B. Nutter and Company. He'll get Luis Valbuena, Kelly Shopik, and Matt Laporta in the 5th. Zach also has one of the best defensive plays of the game on a ground ball from Peralta back in the 2nd inning. One of the candidates for best defensive play tonight is also Luis Valbuena, who just took a hit in an RBI away from DeJesus in the bottom of the 4th. Zach's ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. Valbuena singled in the 2nd inning. He has an 8-game hitting streak. Down on 3 pitches, and that's 8 for Zach as he adds to his new career high. Now 190 strikeouts this year.
This pitch here, he wanted it down and away, but he got it up, and up there it's unhittable. Got a lot of life to it. So sometimes missing a spot is good, sometimes it's bad. But in this case, it was good.
Second straight start that Zach has struck out 8. He had 8 on Wednesday at Chicago and only 1 walk. Royals lost that game 4-2. Zach gave up 3 solo home runs to the White Sox in that game, and that's the only time this year Zach has given him more than 2 home runs in a game. Shopik has had an awful time against Zack Greinke. Struck out in the 2nd inning. So he is 0 for 9 with 5 strikeouts against Greinke. So he's got that in the back of his head. He's also trying to put an end to an 0 for 18. One ball, two strikes. Now make it 0 for 10 with 6 strikeouts. Shopik against Zack. That's 9 strikeouts for Zack tonight. Another look at tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. Who is Zack's biggest nemesis on the Indians? 45% saying Grady Sizemore, and he is not in the lineup tonight. Only 11% saying Travis Hafner. Hafner so far has struck out and flied out against Greinke. 68 miles an hour in for a strike to Matt Laporta.
When you've been throwing 95, all of a sudden here's something 68 miles an hour. Do you think he was looking fastball on that approach?
And back with 96. I think he was. And you wonder, when was the last time Matt Laporta saw a pitch come floating in at 68 miles an hour?
I mean, it's a great testament to Zack to be able to throw that hard with his fastball and command it, and come back with a 68 mile an hour curveball and command that also. That's a huge difference.
Well, Zack already has a new career high for a single season with 191. He is 1 strikeout away from a milestone. That would be strikeout number 700. He tried to get it there with a fastball at 96. Zack's season high for strikeouts this year is 10. He's done that 4 times. Did he go? Yes. So make it 5 times. Greinke has had 10 strikeouts in a game, and now he has 700 career strikeouts. And he strikes out the side in the 5th. Items, Panera Bread, where every detail matters. And by Budweiser Select, full flavor, 99 calories, the exception to the rule. And another guest in the booth tonight, Royals nutritionist Mitzi Dulon is here to talk about a book that she has written with former Chief Tony Gonzalez, the all-pro diet, which Frank White has been using his whole life. Is this your first book?
It absolutely is. And Tony, he knew I was coming on tonight, and he told me to tell all of his fans hello.
Oh, okay. Well, they're going to miss him this year, that's
I know.
for sure. Yeah. Well, I guess the book speaks for itself, or at least the title speaks for itself, but how can the all-pro diet help the average Joe?
The average Joe, it's really about paying attention to how you're fueling your body, whether you're a professional athlete, and most of us aren't. Really looking at what we're putting in is what we get out. So putting good fuel in our own gas tank so that we feel well. You know, we have an obesity crisis today, so we really need to pay attention to all those calories that we're putting in and really trying to put clean fuel into our body.
Now, Joel has read the book, right, on the last
He
road
has.
trip. Now, Joel is with us. I believe he has a microphone. Are you with us, Joel?
I'm here.
Okay. What was your favorite part about Chapter 4?
Chapter 4, I think, was that the part about Frank, something about
Yeah,
eating
exactly.
late-night food, right? Frank and I have been observing that. No late-night food after the baseball game.
There we go.
I've definitely gotten better.
Joel already told me some of the things he's changed, so don't let him fool you.
All right, we believe him. Now, being the nutritionist for the Royals and for the Chiefs, specifically, what is different as far as what these guys need to eat for the long haul of 6 months as opposed to the guys that are competing once a week?
Really, the baseball, no, there's no schedule like baseball, as you guys know, and the long, grueling schedule, and also many of them, as you know, sleep in and then get up a little later, but their whole day is shifted, and then they're out of town so much. So it's really trying to plan that good eating on the road, as I know you and Frank know, and Joel all know it can be a challenge.
Well, late night for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is one part, here's a look at the book, what is one simple rule about dieting or eating healthy that people overlook and maybe get too scientific about?
Many people drink too many calories. It's just, I actually used to work with the Golden State Warriors out when I was in the Bay Area. I had a player who was injured, and he was already higher body fat than they wanted. Well, they sent him to me. He was actually drinking about 2,000 calories of grape juice a day. He got leaner during rehab than he'd been during his whole NBA career. So drinking your calories, whether it's alcohol, sodas, or juices, but that's an easy way to cut weight. If you cut out 100 calories a day, you'll lose 10 pounds in a year.
Really?
Yes.
Just by 100?
Yes. So it adds up quickly.
There's a pitch down and away to Billy, Ryan, and Billy said he fouled his ball off, and it looks like he got the top of it down in the shop. He made it look so easy that home plate umpire Adrian Johnson called it a strikeout. Well, the good thing is they're getting together and talking about it, and whatever comes out of this, the Royals have to accept it.
And they are going to call it a foul ball, and I'm sure Eric Wedge is going to have something to say about that.
Well, if Billy hits the top of it, you can see the spin of the ball changed, and it just it's very, very slight. Then this ball just hits the dirt real quick and goes right up in the glove.
Now, Mitzi, I want to ask you a question about diet. I've heard, you mentioned just 100 calories a day. I've heard, too, if you could just skip the bread on the table before a meal, that we get all filled up with the bread and the butter before the actual meal comes when we're eating out. If we could just skip that part.
That saves calories, especially for those of us that don't have one piece of bread. We have 2 or 3 or 4.
And half a stick of butter.
And you know, another tip that's actually worked well over the years with the average Joe as well as professional athletes is stop eating when you're satisfied. So many of us eat till we're full, or we're stuffed, or we're feeling sick, and it's a simple thought of portion control. And that, again, if you're thinking of that 100 calories a day cutting back, I explain how small steps can create big results. Just like every day taking some extra BP or doing the extra work in the weight room, it adds up.
So no buffets. No.
Just one trip through. That's
Yeah,
all.
one trip
One
and
small
don't and
trip.
yeah, and use a smaller plate. Exactly.
Now,
You guys got it.
I've sit through your presentation before, and I've seen some things on your table that I thought were very good for you, but I mean, you had this big hunk of orange juice. You know, explain that orange juice.
Oh, I have the hunk of fat of talking about how you drink too much orange. People don't realize how many calories are in the juice. And it's all right if you're not looking to lose weight, but you know, I have players as well as a lot of people out there are looking to cut body fat or cut weight. And when you're drinking 500 to 1,000 calories, and oftentimes those don't satisfy you. So you're not feeling satisfied, but you're getting all those extra calories. I was just talking to someone earlier this afternoon who's drinking about 1,000 calories a day.
Now, how did the players, how did they react to you when you first came in with such a sophisticated program for those guys to be on down there?
I think it just takes time, I think, to develop that respect, as you guys know, to where they have results. What also works is when guys see me talking to veterans, guys that have been in the NFL or Major League Baseball for many years, and then when they see that, they're like, oh, okay, maybe I need to talk to her too, and think they might, you know, some competitive advantage. And what I talk about with players is their body is their job. So if you were a butcher, you'd get a sharp knife. If you're a professional player, really, you should do everything you can to get that fuel. And I often talk about NASCAR too, how they go out and don't put any old gas in their car. They put the best fuel possible, and these guys should look at it the same way.
The All-Pro Diet is the name of the book. Mitzi Dulon is with us, the Royals nutritionist, has written the book with former Chief Tony Gonzalez as the inning comes to an end. Mitzi, thanks for stopping by. And if you'd like to get the book, there it is. It's also in the bookstores, and Mitzi has a website, nutritionexpert.com.
Thanks, guys.
Good seeing you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And he has a great defensive play. That's the subject of tonight's Coors Light Freeze Cam. And this leap on the mound on the ground ball from Johnny Peralta back in the second. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Zack has struck out 5 of the last 6. He has 10 strikeouts for the 5th time this year. And Marte drives it to deep left, and there goes the shutout with an exclamation mark. So Andy Marte with his first home run of the year, and it's 4-1.
Well, this is that fastball that he doesn't like to throw too much. That's that two-seam fastball, and that one ran right in, and Marte really got it. It just came right into his bat. It's only about that two-seamer. If it doesn't get it in where you can jam a guy, then it's very hittable.
Ball one to Cabrera, 1 for 2 with a single. One ball, one strike. Well, the home run hasn't hurt Zack tonight, but the home runs have really stung the Royals. In the Royals' last 34 games, they have given up 49 home runs and have allowed at least one home run in 32 of the last 34 games. And remember, for most of the first half, the Royals had given up the fewest home runs in the American League. On the ground to Callaspo, so Zack comes right back and gets Cabrera one away. Zack now with 700 strikeouts, so that puts him at 8th all time. And next up on the list is Jeff Montgomery. Kevin Napier with 1,458 and Split with 1,057. And I always like to bring up comparisons between Kevin Napier and Paul Splittorff whenever I have the chance.
Why is that?
2 balls, no strikes on Jamie Carroll. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Two and one on Jamie Carroll, who was struck out and flied out tonight against Zack. A couple of stats that are just so hard to believe, as good as Zack has been this year, but he has 1 win in his last 9 starts. And the Royals this year actually have a losing record when he's on the mound. Zack himself has a winning record. He's 11-8. But believe it or not, the Royals are 11-14 when he takes them out. And a new season high, 11 strikeouts, 2 down in the 6th inning.
This strikeout really came on his signature pitch, which is a slider, Ryan. Just a little hard slider down and away. You usually see it inside the left-handers down to that back leg, but here this is a perfect slider for a strikeout.
Zack also ties a career high with his 11 strikeouts. He struck out 8 at Oakland last July of 2008, that is. The Royals' record for most strikeouts in a game is 14. Mark Gubiza. 0-2 on Shin-Soo Choo, who has struck out twice.
When you talk about anticipation, Zack just does a great job of anticipating after he makes the pitch. And there's a bunt attempt, and he's already off and running. So you got to almost keep the ball right on the line if you want to get a base hit off him, because he anticipates very well what you're trying to do.
You know, it looked like there too, Frank, that not only was he anticipating a bunt, but he read the bat angle and knew which side to come off the mound.
And that comes from probably the shortstop days and his infield days, just reading bats and things like that. So always watch the top of the bat and which way it's going.
12 strikeouts, a new career high. And Zack has struck out 7 of the last 10.
inning. And our contestant today is Jack McHenry from Kansas City, Kansas. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Jack will win $900. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Jack will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Alberto Callaspo, Mark Teahan, Miguel Olivo coming up. Olivo's already homered. His team leading 17th of the year. That went right off of our parabolic microphone. Two ground balls, both to the right side in the third inning, grounding into a double play. And another ground ball to the right side. Marte to the bag himself, one down. The third annual Viva Los Royals is September the 5th. That's a Saturday, a 6:10 game with the Angels, presented by Sprint. You'll enjoy live pregame entertainment with music from War, local favorite Las Estrellas, and appearances from Angelica Vale and singer Rick Trevino. Festivities begin at 4 p.m. The first 20,000 fans through the gates receive a Royals barbecue apron. One strike to Mark Teahan, who was walked and grounded out to first. Royals getting one in the first. Mike Jacobs driving in Mitch Meyer. Two in the third. Butler and Jacobs driving in runs, and a solo home run from Miguel Olivo in the fourth. And the Indians just scored their first run tonight when Andy Marte led off the bottom of the sixth with a home run off of Zack Greinke. Just off the inside, 2-1. When Teahan grounded out in the fourth inning, that was the first time in 8 plate appearances he got the ball in play against Masterson. He had 4 strikeouts and 3 walks, and now he grounds out to second base and 2 away in the sixth. Masterson now at 93 pitches with 2 down in the sixth inning, and maybe starting to feel it. He has retired 9 of the last 11. He got Miguel Olivo to ground into a double play in the second inning, but then Olivo got him with a long home run to left center in the fourth.
That's fastball, middle and down, out over the plate. And he knew right away. He didn't do his signature hop after he hit that one, but he left home plate knowing he got all that ball.
And the hop usually comes after he knows he got it. And how did he not know he got that one?
I have no idea. Maybe it's been a while since he felt like he hadn't hit enough to get that feel. But it sounded good and looked good from our standpoint.
A hop that was first made famous by Sammy Sosa when he was hitting all those home runs. And he, along with Mark McGwire, both breaking Roger Maris's record in 1998. That's when people started really noticing the hop. Masterson with his 4th strikeout. And now he is retired the last 8. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. So Zack Greinke has allowed just 1 run, 3 hits after 6 innings. He has set a new career high with 12 strikeouts, and that is just 2 shy of the Royals' single game record, 14, accomplished by Mark Gubicza. Curveball a little bit high to Johnny Peralta. Zack has struck out 7 of the last 10 batters. Peralta struck out against Zack in the 4th inning. Back in the 2nd inning, Zack made a great play on a high bouncer over the mound, jumping up, plucking it out of the sky, and throwing out Peralta. It's the 2nd time this year that a Royal has challenged Mark Gubicza's single game record for strikeouts. Back on July the 25th, Luke Hochevar struck out 13 in a game against the Texas Rangers. Did he go? No, says Damian Beal, the umpire at first.
We'll get a good look at it from the side here, Ryan. He watched the wrist. The wrist never did break, and the top half of the bat never did get ahead of the hands.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, you figure Zack has a great shot at the record tonight. He only needs 2 more to tie. He has thrown only 84 pitches. That is remarkable. 12 strikeouts in 6 innings and fewer than 90 pitches. And how did Peralta lay off that pitch?
I have no idea. Unless he's just looking fastball and refused to swing at the breaking ball.
And that's the first walk. That's a pretty good strikeout to walk ratio, 12-1. And that's only the 3rd man to reach against Zack all night. Well, the summer is quickly coming to an end, and it's been feeling that way with the cooler temperatures in August. And you can end the summer here at Kauffman Stadium with a relaxing Labor Day, Monday, September the 6th, against the Angels at 1:10. You'll enjoy $5 upper level tickets as part of a Royal night during the day. Can you believe that Labor Day will be during the next homestand? Still throwing 96 and strike 1 on Hafner, who has struck out and flied out against Zack tonight.
That goes back to saying, Ryan, you can't be fun at the old ballpark. But the season is getting away from us, and a little over a month to go. And
another great catch. How about that lefty reaching up and protecting the fans behind him? Huh? Number 13. So that ties a single season high for the Royals, matching Luke Hochevar back on July the 25th. And now Zack is 1 away from tying the Royals record. Joel Goldberg.
Well, you mentioned Mark Gubicza, the record now in danger. August 27th, 1988, nearly 21 years ago to the day, as Mark Gubicza outdueled Burt Blyleven and the Minnesota Twins. 5 people that were in that final box score that day are here in the house today. I'll give you a couple of hints, guys. One of them's next to me, and one of them's next to you, Ryan. How about the other 3?
Ron Swan was in the lineup that day?
He didn't make the final box score, but I'm sure he was here.
Oh, okay.
Final box score.
So, Frank White.
Right.
And
Jamie Quirk was his catcher.
Okay. And there's 3 more?
There's 3 more.
What was the date again?
1988.
All right, Kevin Seitzer.
Correct. The other one you might have seen on camera tonight, earlier. He may or may not be standing behind Jamie and I right now. That doesn't help you.
Okay. George.
George, yes. I didn't want you to forget him. The 5th is a little bit of a tricky question. He did not play in the game.
1 ball, 2 strikes now in Valbuena, so Zach 1 strike away from the record. But he was in uniform.
He was in uniform and in the box score, but did not play. Different colored uniform than the Twins or the Royals.
Was it Gary Cederstrom?
That was Steve Palermo.
Oh.
Home plate umpire. And Jamie now is realizing that the record that he has so cherished for so many years as the catcher may be falling shortly.
Olivo blocks it. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Valbuena. Zach has struck him out once. Valbuena has also singled. One of just 3 hits tonight for the Indians. Zach, by the way, has struck out 7 of the 9 Indians tonight. Only Asdrubal Cabrera, who was 1 for 3 with a ground out and a fly out, and Andy Marte, who has popped out and homered, have not struck out. Line to center. Anderson is there. 2 down.
Well, Joe missed one other person that was in that game in '88, and that's the manager. Duke Waffen was the manager of that team.
And Duke is sitting behind home plate with the scouts. Next to Eddie Rodriguez. It was announced, speaking of Jamie, that Eddie and Jamie are going to manage the USA World Cup team. And they're going to be taken off in just a little over a week. 0-1 on Kelly Shopik. And you don't need to tell Kelly Shopik about how good Zach has been tonight. It goes back further than that. Shopik 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts tonight, and 0 for 10 with 6 strikeouts in his career against Zach. One ball, 1 strike. One ball, 2 strikes. Budweiser Select shows us what's on tap for the Royals. No TV tomorrow, an afternoon game. Luke Hochevar against David Huff. Thursday through Sunday at Seattle. And next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at Oakland. Lays off at 2-2.
And Zach's going to go to work here. He's trying. You can tell he's definitely going for the strikeout here, Ryan. But just by the type of pitch he's throwing, hard slider down and away. Like he's trying to stay away from the fastball, but it might be the best pitch for him right now. But you know, when the guy's really trying to fight off a slump against a pitcher, he's real susceptible to the slider.
This is pitch number 100 tonight, and the count is 3 balls, 2 strikes. The Indians, by the way, have the 3rd most strikeouts as a team in the American League. The Rangers the most, and that was the team that Hochevar struck out 13 times, followed by Tampa Bay. Got him looking, and he's tied the record. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Royals lead 4-1, and Zack Greinke has tied a Royals record with 14 strikeouts tonight. Elsewhere in the American League, presented by Panera Bread, it's Texas in front of New York by 5. Texas 5 games back in the West. Tampa Bay is leading Toronto. 2 home runs for Carlos Pena, 37 this year. Boston leading Chicago. The Red Sox leading in the wild card. White Sox 3.5 back of the Tigers in the Central. Baltimore's at Minnesota. Minnesota's won 4 in a row. Detroit will be at Los Angeles later tonight, and Oakland will be at Seattle. And the Royals will see Oakland and Seattle on the next road trip. And the Royals will see a new pitcher in the bottom of the 7th inning, left-hander Rafael Perez, with a 7.96 ERA, and has spent some time this year in the minor leagues. Anderson laying down a bunt, tried to get it past the mound, but too close to the hill, and Perez throws him out. Anderson is 1 for 3. MLB.com's At Bat 2009 for the iPhone and iPod Touch puts live baseball at your fingertips. You'll get play-by-play from game day, real-time box scores, video highlights, and even live game day audio. Visit Royals.com today on your iPhone or iPod Touch to download At Bat 2009. One strike to Yuniesky Betancourt. Singled and scored in the 3rd inning, and then lined out softly to 3rd in the 4th. One and one. So the Royals scoring all 4 runs off of Justin Masterson, who finished strong, retiring the last 8. Royals with a single run in the 1st inning on Mike Jacobs, RBI single. 2 runs in the 3rd. Butler and Jacobs driving in runs, and Miguel Olivo with a solo home run in the 4th. On the ground of Valbuena. 2 down in the bottom of the 7th inning. Well, when Zach's on the mound, you know there's a chance for a lot of strikeouts, but apparently this group was not ready for 14, and they've had to improvise.
Kind of like a lineup card. You prepare for 10 innings, 12 innings, or what do? You improvise.
And 0-1 on David DeJesus, who has hit in 7 straight. He's got his average up to 273. 1 for 3 tonight. Bunt single, only his 2nd bunt single of the year. That was in the 3rd inning. And coming home on Mike Jacobs' 2nd RBI of the night. A 2-hit game for DeJesus. Now setting his sights on getting to 280.
What David does well, Ryan, is he doesn't give against left-handers, and you can just watch how his head just tracks this ball right to the fat part of the bat, and it just stayed right with this and turned on and hit that line drive. And that's one thing that everybody likes about David's fact that he doesn't give against lefties very often.
Now we'll see how Mitch Meyer hangs in there against Perez. And Meyer into deep right field. It's his first major league home run. So I would say he hung in there pretty well.
Big smile as he comes off. He gets a fastball down and in, and he really got the bat hit to this one. I tell you, he had to know right away that this was going to go. There's nobody any happier than Mitch Meyer right now, right?
I guess after a while you begin to forget what that feels like.
Well, I think you will. I know some of the guys like Mike Aviles and Billy Butler that played with him in the minors, they knew he had the ability to hit a home run, but it took him a long time. And you watch what his pitch is, and he stayed back on his backside and really got through this ball very well.
Bill DeClissia, the Royals bullpen catcher, coming up with Mitch's first major league home run ball. And I'm sure the Royals will have some fun with another baseball and present that to Mitch. Write some things on it, maybe scuff it up a little bit, and then hand him the real home run ball.
I don't know if Billy will, but Mizarok will probably get hold of that one before he gets to finally get to Mitch as being the ball. He'll be making a lot of phone calls tonight.
Cabrera at short, gloves with one hand, and that's the inning. The Royals add two. Mitch Meyer with his first major league home run. And the Royals have given Zack Greinke a 5-run lead to the 8th inning at Kauffman. Career season high with 196. So 13 more than he had last year. And a very late afterthought type of a swing from Matt Laporta, who has struck out twice already against Zack tonight. Zack had 102 pitches. One ball, one strike. So 14 against Minnesota for Mark Gubicza back in '88, and 14 tonight for Zack Greinke against the Indians. Deep left center, and Anderson won't be able to run it down. So Laporta finally makes contact against Greinke and doubles, leading off the 8th inning.
You know, Zack left a fastball up right there and out over the plate. And he's probably geared for fastball and was able to drive it in the left center field.
And now Marte, who homered his last time up against Zack, also popped out to short. And as I mentioned last inning, only Marte and Cabrera have not struck out against Greinke. Carroll has struck out twice, Shin-Soo Choo 3 times, Peralta once, Hafner twice, Valbuena once, Shopik 3 times, and Laporta twice. One and one. And now the Royals are busy in the bullpen. Robinson Tejeda is starting to play catch. Zack now at 106 pitches. And Marte again blasting it to left field. It's hooking. And it is a foul ball. But, man, he got all of that.
And that was a big hanging curveball, Ryan. That one didn't go across the plate. It stayed right in the hitting zone. You can see where this curveball just doesn't do anything. It just sort of flattens out and just goes right up there.
After Zack struck out Kelly Shopik to end the 7th inning up on the Crown Vision, the Royals announced that Zack had tied the Royals record, so they know he is one away, and now everyone standing and cheering him to the top of the record list. And there it is. So in a year where we've grown accustomed to seeing Zack atop the league leaders, now Zack is atop the Royals in single game strikeouts with 15.
It didn't take the crowd long to get into that strikeout. Once they knew what was on the line, they got right behind Zack and really rooted for that strikeout.
One ball, one strike on Cabrera. So now Zack has struck out 8 of the 9 innings, and the only one that hasn't gone down on strikes is Cabrera. Zack also tying a major league season high with 15 strikeouts. Tim Lincecum of the Giants has 15 this year. 2-1 on Cabrera. And that's driven into left center field and slicing away from Anderson, who can't quite get there. So Laporta is going to come around to score. Cabrera wants a triple. The Royals should get an out, and they do. Well, it's a 6-2 game. That's a double and an RBI for Cabrera. Out at third base.
Well, this is where you really got to remember what the score is, Ryan, and really be comfortable with a double in that situation. He tried to get a little greedy and was cut down at third base.
Still throwing 96, and he just missed outside to Jamie Carroll. Carroll has struck out twice, and he's also flied out to center field. And tonight we're going to dedicate our Arby's pitch by pitch to Zack Greinke's 15 strikeouts.
Well, you want to sit back and just look at him, Ryan. I mean, he's throwing an assortment of everything: sliders, slow curveballs, running fastballs.
And now chance for 16 strikeouts as Carroll fouls it away.
What's amazing about those strikeouts, there were no foul tipped into the catcher's mitt or anything. They were just swinging misses, all of them. And the fans are right back in it.
Just got a piece. Shallow left center field again. Anderson on the run, diving again, and he catches up to this one. Indians add a run, but Zack adds his name to the Royals record book with 15 strikeouts. Zack with 117 pitches is done tonight, but he strikes out 15. So a new Royals record for a single game, and he only walked one. And the Royals have supported him with 6 runs. Facing Jensen Lewis now in the bottom of the 8th inning. Royals got 4 against starter Justin Masterson and then 2 against Rafael Perez. Mike Jacobs has driven in 2 runs tonight. Two balls, 1 strike. Jensen Lewis last year was the Indians closer, and then losing the job to Kerry Wood, who was signed during the offseason. 3 balls, 1 strike. And you see 1 save and 5 opportunities, but when you're a setup guy, a lot of times the only thing you can get is a blown save. Full count on Jacobs. And the leadoff walk. So Jacobs on base 3 times tonight. And before Alberto Callaspo comes up, let's find Joe Goldberg.
Well, Ryan, I was sitting with Steve Palermo during the last half inning, and of course we told you that back in 1988 when Mark Gubazov set the single game record for strikeouts by a Royal, Palermo was the home plate umpire. He said that when you're umping a game behind the plate for something like that or a no-hitter, he says your right arm seriously gets tired. He said he will ask Adrian Johnson tomorrow how his right arm is feeling. Then Greinke punched out his 15th, and he said, well, he just made me and Gooby an asterisk. Guys?
That's a records are made to be broken.
Callaspo has grounded out 3 times to the right side, once into a double play. And it's 2-0 from Jensen Lewis. Kansas City Royals, the state of Missouri, and Fox Sports Kansas City have joined together to encourage young people not to smoke, because once you start, it's hard to stop. Strike out tobacco so we can all breathe. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Three and one on Callaspo. Jensen Lewis, not a very hard thrower, but a herky-jerky type motion, which gives him a lot of deception. I would imagine it would be tough to pick out the ball out of all those knees and ankles and elbows coming at you.
Yeah, you got to look for where his release point is and just sort of draw a circle around where the ball comes out and not really pay attention to the body, because that will throw you off. Got a good run to it. Got some good sink to his fastball.
Jacobs is running as Callaspo fouls it away. Jacobs does not have an official stolen base attempt yet this year.
And when you look at a lot of things going on, legs kicking all over the place, glove comes, and if you watch all that, you're not going to ever see the ball.
Jacobs runs again. Callaspo fouls it again.
Now the way Mike is taking off, he's running 3 and 2 and not really trying to steal the base. But if Alberto happens to strike out, it might be some good distance between him being thrown out at second base.
Running again, and this one's popped up. Jamie Carroll coming up in right. Callaspo is 0 for 4. And now Martin walked in the second inning. He has grounded out twice. No balls, 1 strike. Line to second. And no double play. That came up and got Marte around the neck.
Well, that was some kind of play by Valbuena at second base. You know, just having the ability to go to his left, you know, snag this line drive and then get to his feet. Didn't quite get the balance that he wanted before he made the throw, but Marte really got beat up on this play. Ball went off the heel of his glove and right underneath the chin. And I would talk to him later about that one.
But he kept it off of his lips.
Just barely.
Fastball right by Miguel Olivo. Hit his 17th home run in the 4th inning, passing Mike Jacobs for the team lead. And he's enjoyed catching Zack Greinke's 8 outstanding innings tonight, record-setting 8 innings, 15 strikeouts, a new Royals record for a single game. '24th time and 26 starts that Olivo's been behind the plate for Greinke. Two and one. Royals right now have 3 catchers that are hitting the ball well. Brian Pena just had a 12-game hitting streak snapped. John Buck had a 2-run double last night. And Miguel Olivo with a home run tonight. And Trey Hillman trying to find a way to get all those catchers some playing time. And with the Royals wanting to get a long look at Brian Pena, the only sure playing time that Olivo and Buck can count on. Olivo behind the plate with Greinke on the hill, and Buck with Mesh on the hill. And Olivo is down on strikes, and that's the inning. So Zack is done. Royals by 4 to the 9th. The team record 15 strikeouts, and he's getting an ovation by way of Crown Vision. Zack is in the dugout. Robinson Tejeda's on the mound, but a crowd tonight of 17,353 applauding Zack's achievement. And with the Royals ahead by 4, it's Robinson Tejeda trying to get the last 3 outs. Here's What Do You Know, presented by Radio Shack. And the Royals' record this year is 47-77, and that has even deeper meaning for the Royals bullpen. When there have been 77 games this year that the Royals bullpen has allowed 4 or more earned runs, and 47 games where they've allowed 4 or less earned runs. So correlating directly with the overall record. It'll be Shin-Soo Choo, Johnny Peralta, and Travis Hafner in the 9th inning. And nobody is more excited about Greinke being out of the game than Shin-Soo Choo and Kelly Shopik. They both struck out 3 times against Zack.
Yeah, this is what you really didn't want to have happen out of your bullpen, to come out and throw 3 straight balls. You want to try to close this one out as quickly as possible and get out of here. So you just never know with Tejeda, whether you're going to have the good Tejeda or the Tejeda who has trouble with his command.
Well, this is the Tejeda who has failed to throw a strike. And Joakim Soria warming up behind him. Trey Hillman not allowing Soria to finish the top of the 8th inning last night after blowing the save and giving up 3 runs, for the purpose of having him available the next night. So warming up alongside John Bale. Bale could be asked to come on to face Travis Hafner, who's 2 batters down the road. On the last road trip, the Royals were in Minnesota, and Robinson Tejeda came out of the bullpen. He threw 2 pitches for balls, and right away the Royals got to work in the bullpen. So Trey Hillman definitely got a heads up that Tejeda wasn't feeling in the bullpen. 4 pitches later, Tejeda was out of there. And it's 0-1 on Johnny Peralta.
Yeah, that might have been the quickest hook of the year.
On the same road trip, Tejeda had an outing where he went 3 scoreless innings. One ball, 1 strike. Peralta walked, struck out, and grounded out against Zack. Off speed, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's one thing early. If you don't have it with your fastball, you got to go find another pitch. And off speed has been good for him lately.
After the game from Rival Sports Bar out in right field, it's Boulevard Royals Live with Joel Goldberg, Jamie Quirk, and Paul Splittorff, brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City's beer. Two balls, 2 strikes. Peralta's 0 for 6 against Robinson Tejeda. He's walked 3 times. And for some hitters, that's the only way to get on base against him, because of the good velocity and the good slider. If he's on, he's getting guys out. But all throughout his big league career, has had trouble keeping the walks down. And now it's 3-2.
against Peralta, he's been mainly all speed, and the fastball didn't have that command of it. He's gone with the changeup and the slider as his 2 pitches in this at bat.
And he may have swung at ball 4.
Now, the way things have been going, if he loses Peralta, that might be it.
Greinke, by the way, with 117 pitches tonight. That was a season high. Got him with a fastball. So a walk, now a strikeout, 1 down in the 9th.
Now he found his fastball on this pitch. After throwing so many breaking balls, the fastball looked twice as fast to Peralta. He was really late on that fastball.
So 16 strikeouts for the Royals tonight, 15 for Greinke. And here's Travis Hafner, who drove in 4 runs last night, including a 3-run home run. Tonight, against Greinke, 0 for 3. He struck out twice. Ball 1 outside. Travis Hafner 0 for 4 against Tejeda with a walk and a strikeout. Pass Tejeda, and Callaspo is going to run back Chu for out number 2.
We've seen it happen twice in this series already, Ryan. This is a situation here where all that Burt had to do was throw the ball to first base. And now you got the base runner. Now the other runner's in a rundown, and you can end the game right there. Once you're getting going back toward first, you can't change directions at that point.
And that's a play that's really bedeviled Callaspo going back to the first homestand of the year in that series against the Yankees. And now Luis Valbuena, who was 1 for 3 against Zack with a single. To Butler. Race to the base. Billy wins, and so do the Royals. And a milestone night at Kauffman Stadium. 15 strikeouts for Zack Greinke. Mitch Meyer with his first major